Hello, welcome back to another video. So in last video we discussed about basically we did the setup work for quiz application. Now in this video we'll take it forward. Now at this point we just have the basic setup of Tailwind and Tailwind CSS and our Rails. Okay, that's great. But now we need to think about features that we want. It's a quiz application. I want to keep it simple. The reason why I want to keep it simple is because this entire video series is focused on making sure that I go in depth of each and every concept that I teach, but at the same time, it should be short enough for everyone to follow along. Okay. At the same time, if something new product I create in future, I can redirect to the newer audience that, hey, if you don't have experience about Rails, just watch this video series. You'll get the basic overview and then you can watch my full series. Okay. So this is a setup work for bigger series that I want to create, like e-commerce and other things. But it's just that they need a lot of time, like 3 to 4 months. So let's start. So we will have to think of some features. So let's start with this draw tool that I have online. Let me start writing. Okay. So what all features do we need? This is the standard process that a lot of developers follow for MVP projects. Okay. Obviously, if you're working at a company level, you will have to follow something called a software development lifecycle, which helps you, which is a series of documents which helps you in planning the entire project. But for our case, it's a MVP, so we'll just keep it simple. What all things do we need? So from user perspective, if someone comes on my website, they can sign in slash sign up. Okay. Basically can create a user. Okay. User management, I would say. Okay. Once there is a user, they can select a quiz, select quiz. Now there are two types of things here. Should I select a specific quiz or should I ask them to select some form of tag? For example, if they select React tag, they can get all the questions related to React. But I think selecting a quiz would be fine because I know that I'll be the admin and I'll create a specific type of quizzes if I need to. So I'll select, I'll keep this as select quiz only. Okay. Once they select quiz, show questions slash answers. The UI will show a set of questions and answer like maybe 10 questions. Okay, in that, now user submits answers. User will submit various answers. Submit overall. Okay, user will finish the quiz. Finish quiz. Okay. Anything else? Once they finish the quiz, what else do we need? You can see the score. Okay. And then there can be a dashboard to show all quiz scores. Basically, all the quizzes that they have taken and their scores in that. Okay. So these are the basic details I want to keep, not much, not a lot. Okay. Then there is one more feature, which is admin. So as an admin can add quizzes. Okay. So admin for this, I'm thinking admin can add quizzes. If we have sufficient time, I'll add more features like seeing the score of various users and all those kind of things. But for now, I'm fine with this, that admin can add quizzes. That's it. Okay. So now from this, let's identify various types of things that we need to focus on. For example, from focus of tables. Okay. So from the focus of tables, we will have to keep user details, users. We will have to keep quiz names, quiz details. Like you can have various details like name, end date, start date, those kind of things. I'm not fully sure if I'll go in depth of it, but for now, let's think of it that it will have name. Okay. Then there will be questions. Okay. Each question can have multiple options, but those multiple options can be either 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't know, or 5, anything. Okay. So in that case, what I want is I want answers to be separate. Okay. And we'll connect questions with answers. I'll show you how. Okay. And then there will be something called a submitted answers. Okay. So basically, whenever a user selects a particular question and submits a particular answer, we'll combine them, select a particular question and answer, and submit that as an entry, whether it is correct or incorrect and all those kind of things. Okay. I think I won't keep answers separate. I will make sure that each question have four, max 4 options. Okay. And one of them will be only one correct answer. Just to make things simple, I'll use it like this. Okay, so these are the basic details that we have. Now, based on this, try to visualize what I'm trying to say. You as a new user, as an admin, I've already done my work. I've added questions and everything. You as a new user, come to my website. You will have an option to sign up or log in. You will click on that, sign up or log in basically. Once you are logged in, now on the home page, you can see quizzes. Okay, quiz one, quiz two, or whatever it is. Basically, name of different quizzes. And if you click on any one of this, a new page opens up, which has 10 questions. You select various options that you want to submit the quiz. And once you've submitted the quiz, I'll calculate what is your total score, show it to you, at the same time, save it to the database. And once you have done enough quizzes in your profile, you will have an option to go to dashboard. And in that, you can see all the quizzes, basically all the quizzes and their score relate, whatever you have attempted. Okay, so let's keep it a bit simple. So for this, first we should design a database. So let's write database design. On, like, I'm assuming if you're looking for full stack developer, you should know these things. Even if you don't know, let's start understanding these things. And when we write code, you will understand this in much more detail. I'll use draw SQL. DB diagram is also really famous, but I'll use draw SQL. I've already signed in or signed up to this. So let's go to your diagrams. I don't think I have any diagram. So I'll create a new diagram. Name it as quiz app. I'll also use YT so that in future I remember that it was for YouTube. In our database, in our project, we are using PostgreSQL database. So let's create that. Okay. First thing that we need is users. Okay. So let's start with that. Create new table, users, or for that I'll use U capital. It will have an ID, which is a big int or int, whatever it is, it's fine. Let's add column. Email. Okay. So email will be string, text, varchar. Okay. Email will be varchar. Let's use password. We won't keep password as it is. It will be a digest password or password digest. Basically encrypted password. It will be text. Okay. Anything else do I need? I think add index. I'll just have to index email. If we need anything else, I'll see. Okay. But I'll have to index. Yes. So this is the basic database that we have. Email, password, ID. That's fine. And we will have timestamp also, like created at, updated at, those kind of basic details. We'll think about it in future. Now, what do we need second? Quiz details. So think, is quiz detail dependent on a specific user? No. Okay. Quiz details will have things on their own. Okay. So what I will do is I'll add a column, add a new table called quiz. It will have an ID. It will have a column called basically name or title. Okay, it will be varchar, or let's make it text. I'll add another column. Let's add description because we might need it. I'm not fully sure, but let's do text. I'm not using start date and end date for now. Let's not use that. Okay, so we have got the quiz ID. Great. Let's index. No, let's not index anything. And let's make this unique. Let's make it unique. Okay, it should be unique. Let's add another one, another table. What is the third one? We have quiz details. Now we need questions. Okay. So let's name this table as edit questions, or maybe just questions. Yes, questions. And in this, let's add a column. Obviously, the question will be there. But keeping it questions and questions doesn't look good. So what should I use? Should I use text, title? Let's use title. Then option A, option B, option C, option D, correct answer. Okay, let's use text here. Text, 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 text. Again, this will be text. Okay, great. So we have basic question set up. Now, for each question, we need a quiz ID also. Okay, we will have to map each individual question can exist only in one quiz, not in multiple quiz. That's what I want. So that, or maybe we want multiple. Okay, let's keep it multiple only. Okay. So let's add new table, quiz question mapping. Okay, these names might change when we try to implement basic, exactly same thing. But for now, I'll just write quiz question mapping. In this will have its own ID, but along with that, I'll have an ID, add index. No, not add index, add column. Let's delete this. It will have a quiz ID and it will have a question ID. Okay, so both of these together should be unique. Okay, add index, quiz ID, question ID. Okay, yeah. So basically, one question can be part of multiple quizzes. That's what this makes sure. Yes. So we have focused on the questions part. Now user will submit answers. So if a particular user is submitting an answer, what are the characteristics of it? First thing is their your own user ID is important. Which question they have answered. That particular question is also important. And along with that, which answer they have selected, that is also important. So three things, okay? And at the end, we need a score based on quiz level also, okay? So let's start with that. New table, submitted answers, okay? By the way, I think I'll have to change something. I'll think about it, okay? So submitted answers, great. ID, begin, great. Now let's add user ID, not quiz ID, question ID. We don't need quiz ID actually. So question ID, option number or option, yeah, option number. It will be either 12340 123 or A, B, C, D. Sorry, it can be anything. Okay. Or maybe I should write selected option. Okay. I won't write whether it is correct or incorrect. That's not important because we can always calculate that. So let's not go in that. Okay. Now, there's one thing that I want to do, change, which is I want to go to questions and I want to remove this correct answer from this. Why? The reason is if you will ever look this up at a really big scale, like any international exam or national exam or anything else, what they do is they don't keep correct answer in that same database. Okay. Because they want to keep it in a separate way so that if our client, which is the front end, is making a request that, hey, fetch all the question related details, in that they won't get the correct answer because it's not part of the question, right? But if they keep it separate, if they keep it separate, they can always use it at the backend level and they can make sure that there is no API, there does not exist any API which can directly access this new table that we will create. So let's copy this, delete this column, okay, add new table, correct answer, okay, ID, we will obviously need the question ID, and along with that, correct option. Yes. So correct option will be either one A, B, C, D or 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'll use numerical values only. I'm just thinking, should I use numerical or A, B, C, D? I'll use numerical only. We'll see. It's not a big deal actually. Either you keep it 0, 1, 2, 3, which means 0 is A, 1 is B, those kind of things. Either one is fine. So let's keep it simple. Okay. Now let's go to, so we have this quiz question mapping, submitted answers. In submitted answer, we have user ID, question ID, selected option. Great. From this also, we can calculate the quiz score. But if we are calculating it once, let's save it so that we don't have to do it again and again. So when we are saving a particular quiz score, for example, I have submitted a quiz and I have gotten a score of 10, 5 out of 10. So in that case, my user ID is important, my quiz ID is important, and uh, my score is important. Okay. So new table, score, or yes. So in score, ID is there, add a column, quiz ID, add a column, total questions, correct answer count, number of correct answers. Okay. And we'll just keep it simple. Like if there are 10 questions, basically 9 by 10, but I don't want to keep it fixed that only 10 questions are there. So 4 by 5, it can be anything. Okay. And that's why I have written it correct number of answers, correct answer count, and total questions. Okay. Anything else should I focus on? User ID is important. Great. These are the main things. Let's add index for this one. Obviously, we'll have to add a lot of indexes, but for now, let's add it. Fine. Add index, user ID. Great. Anything else should I focus on? Submitted answer for max, quiz options, quiz details, users, admin. Admin, I'll hard-codedly define that only Rajat Talesra can be the admin. I'll define it somewhere. Okay. Dashboard to all, show all quiz scores, score visibility. All these things will get covered with this database. Okay. So let's see if we can actually see it correctly. Okay. So we'll have to separate out these things. Let's try to minimize it a bit. Let's first separate them out and then we'll start connecting them. Okay, so everything starts with the user. Why do we have this? Let's delete this. We don't need empty things here. Okay, so everything starts with the user. Now, these are questions, great, but we need quiz and question mapping. So what we will do is this quiz ID is this basically. I don't know what this exact, this is one to one. One quiz will have many this. So one, I'm a bit confused. Basically, I will just explain you if even if this notation might be different. Yeah. So one quiz ID can map to multiple quiz ID in this. Okay, that's one. Let's keep it somewhere else and let's bring questions here. Now one question, each question this question ID and it will be no 1 to n, which basically means from my side is that it might be a bit reverse, but the main concept is that one question will have multiple question IDs in this. Okay, so if question ID 5 is there, it can be present in 5 different places, 10 different places, 15 different places in this table. Okay, correct answer, obviously it should be one-to-one mapping. Okay, so each question can have, it's becoming a bit hard to control. Let's remove this from here and keep it here. Each question can have only one correct answer. Let's use it here and this. And it will be one-to-one mapping. Okay, each question can have only one correct answer. So by default, it's one-to-one mapping only. Now let's see submitted answer and score also. So it's really messy. Submitted answer is part of users, so I'll use it somewhere here, and it's part of questions also, so I'll paste it here somewhere. Okay. Now this is part of this. Each user can have multiple entries in submitted answer. So 1, 2, and no, n to 1. Okay. Same here. Let's connect it from questions. Each question can have multiple same question ID in submitted answer. So n to 1. Great. And let's go to score. So square has a quiz ID, which is this. And so let's make it a bit here. Use it here. Make it here. Okay. And it can have user ID also. Let's map this user ID and 1 to n. So what it means is that one user can have multiple user IDs, which reflects to multiple type of scores that they can have. Similarly for this, 1 to n. Okay, so this is the basic diagram that we have. We'll try to adhere to this diagram and based on that, we'll create our database and everything. So it might have been a bit boring for at this stage. Let me shift it. Can I edit this and shift this one to here? Yeah, so that it looks a bit cleaner. Okay, so we'll try to adhere to this entire database and based on that, we'll try to focus and keep our project, making sure that the database does make sense. At the same time, you'll see how I convert each and every one of these things in our database correctly. At the same time, in our database, there will be multiple things. If I've used only 3 things here in our database, it will be much more than this. Okay. So let's save this. Let's try to download this if I can, so that in future I don't. Oh, I can directly export it as the schema for Postgres database diagram as DTL. So basically, I can export it like this, and maybe I can import in our code and get full schema correctly. Let's do this as well as JSON, as well as image. So first, let's do this, and then I will export it as image. I just want to see what will be the output of PostgreSQL. I'm assuming it will have queries related to Postgres and all. Export. Meanwhile, let's open this. I'll open it in cursor related ID. Okay, so it has provided us all the details, databases, alter table, and all those things. Okay, we don't need it. Let's not focus on this. At the same time, let's go to downloads. I'll remove this one. Meanwhile, it is downloading. I'm creating this. I have started memberships also. That doesn't mean that regular people who are part of my YouTube channel and who have not joined membership won't get content. But there are some form of content which I actually cannot make public, especially in terms of the interview related things. I can mention the questions and all, but I cannot mention exactly same thing. So all those things, type of things goes to my membership community. And at the same time, there are few videos which I try to test out. So those will get first on the membership. If I get good result, then I will send it to public. Okay. So it might happen sometimes, which I might need to keep to a certain people. Okay. So this is the final diagram. That's great. So it might took some time, but this is the correct process that we are following to identify things. Okay. In next one, we will focus on setting this up in some way. Maybe we will focus on the quiz related part, not the users, just to get started, and we'll see how it works. That's it. Thank you. Bye bye.